Ritesh, a year ago, Forbes magazine said this is a company you need to look out for. It's going to be a household name, but then the pandemic hit. Tell us how you've been faring in what has been an incredibly difficult year where, as we mentioned, everybody's at home. No one's really travelling or going to hotels.
Thank you so much for having me here. You're absolutely right. COVID has really impacted the hospitality and travel industry, one of the most. I'd probably imagine the movie industry, especially the movie outgoing industry, having been impacted more than us, or probably aviation. So clearly we are one of the most impacted industries, but whenever you have challenges like this is the true test of character for entrepreneurs and companies. So we went back to our customers and our small hotel owners and homeowners and tried to learn from them as to what are they seeing in the market. And what we saw was consumers were actively getting bored out at living at homes for a long time. So consumers wanted road trips, consumers wanted to go live in holiday homes, consumers wanted to stay, especially the small and medium businesses, in branded economy hotels rather than independent ones. So we redesigned our entire focus to focus only on holiday homes as well as small hotels. And that has, over the last few months, helped us. As we speak, we are now adding around 35 to 40,000 rooms a month and servicing more and more of the small hotel owners with our proprietary technology and software. And on the other hand, we are able to bring in substantial amount of consumers by means of our various campaigns like that of sanitized before your eyes, wherein if a customer comes to our hotel, nowadays you'd actually clean the room and sanitize it in front of their eyes so that they absolutely are sure about the quality of experience. So we are seeing that consumers really want to go out, but instead of taking long flights, they feel like getting closer to their hometowns in terms of road trips as the new way of travel. And that's what we're trying to capture right now.
Yeah, certainly the staycation mode is one that hotels are trying to rely on in this current challenging environment, Ritesh. But talk us about your cash flow as well. I know you founded your own company when you were 19, I believe. You've got backing from the likes of SoftBank. You had your pre-pandemic valuation at $10 billion and you borrowed, as we mentioned, to buy a stake in your own company. Are the repayments, though, causing you any stress at the moment? How are you going on that front?
I think, first off, we were lucky to have completed a round of financing right before the pandemic hit us. And we have also worked with our leadership and our teams to ensure that we continue to keep a reasonable amount of strength in terms of cash, not just in our parent company, but also across our group companies, including various JVs and various other entities within the group. Our view in terms of being able to look at the financials is that it's a combination of good quality operating cost, which is okay for our company due to heavy use of technology. But at the same time, our gross margin dollars have been recovering. Before the beginning of this quarter, we had already reached around 85% of the pre-COVID level gross margin dollars, primarily aided by means of European holiday home growth combined with a lot of Asian markets like that of China, Southeast Asia, recovering quite substantially, and India starting to recover. India is having a great quarter. We see that India will have a strong travel trend in December, where we are seeing that people, because India had one of the longest lockdowns, people really want to go out and see the country. I believe that as a combination of those, of our gross margin dollar recovery, as well as our OPEX being better, we will continue to hold on to a better bottom line. Specifically in terms of my financing, I think, a small part of my financing was, senior debt. Rest of it was structured. And I think for the small financing, I feel good about being able to manage the repayment and programs linked to that. At this point of time, there is only one good focus, which is building the right technologies for our small hotel partners and customers so that as we do come out of COVID, we come out stronger.
And would you go to market? Are you looking at an IPO?
Like I said, our focus at this point of time is to make sure that we just, learn from our customers and partners and make improvements. Look, we're learning so many things, right? The hotel industry and holiday home industry is fundamentally changing once and for all. It's going to be pre-COVID industry and a post-COVID industry. So our focus is saying for the post-COVID industry, Our hotel owners are going to have less staff. So what technologies do they need to serve their customers? Our customers want more reliable experiences. How do we ensure that? So at this point of time, really the focus is to make sure that spending 60, 70% of the time with engineering and product and making sure that you bring in the best products for your customers and partners so that in the post-COVID era, like you mentioned, we would have been a household name if not for the pandemic hitting us right before. We hope to try and replicate on that once the pandemic is over, coming out of it.
Ritesh, tell us a little bit about your business with China. You've got your, I think your RevPAR, revenue per available room, is 74% of what it was in January. Many people are saying it's going great guns at the moment. What's your net RevPAR looking like there? And just as an aside, with the tensions between India and China, how does that affect your business and how does it affect your future business in China?
First off, I think at a global basis, our net RevPARs are looking anywhere between 60 to 80% of pre-pandemic levels, depending on, of course, the week, the month, the seasonality, and so on. So markets such as China, US, and Europe have recovered much quicker. India and Southeast Asia had longer lockdowns, but the momentum of growth is the strongest in India and Southeast Asia, especially because December is a big season for countries such as India, Indonesia, and a few other countries where we have large presence in. The second bit is Oyo is a globally local company. So if you see Oyo's presence in any of the countries across the world, including that of India or China or Indonesia, in those local markets, you find Oyo as a local brand. And I guess that's the reason why we are able to serve our customers in both of these geographies independently. But of course, India remains one of the biggest markets that Oyo is serving right now.
All right. The thing is, do you grow organically looking ahead, or is it something, perhaps bolt-on acquisitions? Are you looking at anything out there at the moment in terms of M&A?
While we have typically been a build-focused company, but at the same time, Rishaad, I think we've also been focusing on looking at specific M&As that create substantial value. So, for instance, we recently announced the acquisition of TUI Farnhouse, which is TUI's holiday home business in Europe. We've seen that our holiday home business have rapidly increased. We've been able to add more revenue per home than any other player out there because of our dynamic pricing, our ability to make sure that we learn from our customers and price per cohort of customers separately. So we recently completed some of the acquisitions, and we're constantly in the lookout for more M&As. And we're typically a company where in any geography we operate in, Rishaad, and we also make M&As or even grow organically, the countries have typically appreciated us because we've gone out and brought local jobs, especially in the ecosystem of lower middle class or entry-level non-skilled or semi-skilled jobs. So I think our focus has been in this period of time, both to ensure that on one side we look at strategic M&As that can create substantial value, but of course being very cherry-picking about it. And on the other hand, being able to ensure that whichever businesses we do that, especially on the ground in the hotel or inside the holiday home, making sure that we continue to enable people to come in and work there.
Ritesh, how's your relationship with one of your shareholders, of course, which is SoftBank, and what are they doing at the moment to help you in terms of fixing the Oyo business in Japan, which has had a terrible time of it with the virus?
Yeah, I think to begin with, SoftBank, very similar to all of our shareholders, Sequoia, Lightspeed, Green Oaks, Airbnb, have all been engaged with us in terms of ensuring that we tide through this crisis, but not just that, we come out as a stronger company, one that people look at and be very proud of. I think specifically in Japan, as you can imagine, the first 2 to 3 months were tough in terms of RevPARs. But the last 3 months, we have not just seen recovery, we have seen some unique strengths getting built in our business. The first trend that we've started seeing getting built in our business is that our app and website business has started growing higher in comparison to other platforms that we used to get business from, especially because Japan launched a specific program where they started incentivizing people to travel within the country, and Oyo became one of the early members of it, which has allowed us to create substantial growth. And second, we've also been able to work together with our hotel partners to ensure that we create substantial amount of technological impact for our hotel owners, thereby inspiring more hotel owners to join us. So Japan is an example where our Oyo Hotels business is seeing some early momentum. And of course, our partners in Japan have been able to ensure that they bring a lot of local ecosystem trends, including, for instance, the new government partnership for inspiring us to be an early member of that, and consumers have appreciated that, in a big way.
We mentioned how much the pandemic would have put you back on track in terms of where you wanted to be by this time in the cycle had the pandemic not occurred. But what are your plans for expansion in the United States? Because you had sort of been on track to try and rival the amount of hotels that Holiday Inn has in the US.
I think one of the things that we've done as a part of the pandemic is crisis brings clarity, and especially in the beginning of the crisis, it was critical for us to focus. And I think what we did was we ensured our current partners that we had in the early part of the COVID to ensure that all of them get served well and ensure that they get the best returns. In that respect, our US partners got very good returns, to be frank. On one side, what we saw is that consumers who were essential workers were using us like never before. So the top trucking companies, medical companies, pharmaceutical companies, they were all starting to use Oyo that we had never thought of earlier. You may remember we had announced free nights for the first time in the United States for frontline workers. And I feel that the brand reached a lot of hearts, and people sort of said that next time we travel, even outside as an essential worker, we will choose Oyo. So due to that, our RevPARs in the US have recovered almost completely. We have added close to 8,000 rooms just this year in the middle of the pandemic, due to which our revenue is actually 30% more than our RevPAR, because our pre-hotel stock is where the RevPAR is important, but then new revenue got added due to the new hotels. So we are very thankful to our hotel owners in the US, a lot of whom are from the Indian origin, for the great support they have given us in the middle of the pandemic. And on the other hand, I have worked with them, not just in the US, but across the world, having monthly town halls and ensuring I learn about every feature. Hotel owners said, our reconciliation statements need to be cleaner. Yeah. We fixed it. Our hotel owners said we want some flexibility in pricing. We brought features for that.
Ritesh, very quickly, how are you assuring clients, customers, I should say, that we are going to see sanitized hotels in this environment?
Important question, and that is why I recommend, one of the things that we've done here at Oyo is brought in Unilever's partnership across the world, starting from India, where we are ensuring that Lifebuoy, Domex, and a bunch of specialized brands of Unilever have come into our hotels and ensured that each part of our experience are designed in a manner where consumers can feel safe,